Do you want to bring me down a bit, Chris? I'm getting a bit of feedback. Thank you. Okay. How you all be? Yeah, it's a long jig, isn't it? 5 days. I'll be ready for a nice relaxation after today, I'm sure. Thank you. So I'd just like to give my personal congratulations to Jo for becoming a advisory board member. Well done. To tell you that Jo has worked absolutely tirelessly for the last 12 months to help organise this conference. And she's been heavily involved with IMA standards for certification and helping me sort of develop the Mental Health Academy in terms of like inquiry. She has an oversight in absolutely every area of life, and she's a very wise old soul. So I don't think there's a better person who could be a part of the advisory board. So congratulations, Jo. Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit of where we are now with mental health diagnostics or inquiry, and we call it non linear inquiry. So it carries on a little bit from what I was talking about yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. Day before yesterday, I don't even know what day it is. In terms of looking at systems and how symptoms, you could say, are parts of systems. So how different symptoms may be actually presenting together to form part of a more complex health issue which has a core theme behind it, mentally, emotionally, behaviourally. And so this is something we've been working with for a while now, and this understanding's come from our use of kinesiology. So we begin to actually see how different patterns relate to one another and informing and reinforcing one another. And this is where we start to see that very deep health issues, things that sort of sustain over a long period of time, tend to be related to our identity. So this is a presentation, but also there's going to be an exercise for you to do to start to try and get into this way of thinking, to try and understand how different patterns relate to one another, because it might just be, if we can hit a really key theme for somebody, that you can resolve a number of different symptoms together, so not in a linear way, in a non-linear way.
So we have 2 goals for the presentation.
Can't hear you, Jay.
Should be on.
Can you boost the volume a bit?
So we have 2 goals for this presentation. The first one, you'll be really pleased to know, is to not give very much information to you. Do you like that one? No? And the second one is for you to get an activity and really get into looking at a number of health issues and how they fit together, and then looking at what the core issue is behind that. Because when we finish, John's going to come on stage and talk you through the solution process. So our big goal, as well as not talking too much, is really that you go away having a really clear idea of a core issue in your life and having a solution to actually go and heal that. Does that sound good? Yay, get you doing something, because this is an advanced training, of course, so we want to get you into it. But we will give a little bit of theory just before, so you know what we're doing, and probably a demonstration as well. Then you're going to be able to do an activity, and let's just explore and be curious and see where that activity takes you.
Okay, so we were talking a little bit about like the modern scientific approach, which has been based on reductionism, which is the legacy of René Descartes, who believed that the way that we need to look at things is by reducing them down to the single most causal element, in inverted commas, causal element. And that philosophy is a dominant paradigm in all of science, all of actually academia, and it's still the dominant paradigm for looking at how to do research, how to investigate things. And that's really where you see empirical research, statistical data is all based on these ideas that the best way to solve a problem is to look at it in this way: what causes B? The problem with that way of thinking, that when you start to look at complexity, or what you say complex things as if they were complex systems such as organisms, and this applies to organizations as well, societies, culture, that actually it would appear that it's more like this. So when you try to reduce anything down to its like, you reduce the vision down to trying to focus on one thing, you actually lose a sense of the whole and the complexity that's involved. And thereby, you actually lose an understanding, very important understanding, because you're not continually learning and developing because you think you know. All right? And that's the problem. When we think we know, we think we've arrived at something, we've come to a conclusion, and then research, understanding stops. So really what limits any field of development is the philosophical underpinning assumptions that that field is based upon. Yeah. So if we work with a modernistic, linear, reductionistic philosophy, so the ontology is, that idea is that the best way to solve a problem is look at the single cause, you've then negated anything outside of that. So if there's anything with multiple causation, co-creation, co-production, you don't see it. And that's part of the problem we're having with mental health at the moment. So, how do we go non-linear? So we found that working with the biofield, that the mind, brain and body do not work in a linear way. Most issues are far more interconnected than a one-to-one organ-brain relay issue. In other words, we respond as human beings with multiple organ relays at one time. So when we find out about these interconnections, it can also help us, if we're able to receive that information, it can help us get more into the heart of the matter, because we can build a more comprehensive understanding of what's causing the problem.
So why would we do non-linear inquiry? You will find out shortly, but what we've said is that we want to work with the non-linear connections between issues. So how does one person's headache relate to their knee pain? And maybe that also relates to a digestive issue. How does all of that link up? So rather than just focusing on one, how can we actually focus on all three health issues and find a deeper pattern underneath it? So that's really one of our goals, to see the interconnectedness of different organ-brain relays, different emotions and different beliefs. How do they all work together? To build a more comprehensive and accurate picture of what's going on with the client. So rather than just one area of life, one UDIN, one trigger, we can say what's happening with that person's whole life. And that then allows us to really get a really good understanding both of our own stuck patterns and behaviours and our clients' stuck patterns and behaviours. So we see